Hi, my name is Beth Haley here for BoardGameGeek at Gen Con 2019. I'm sitting down with Seth Jaffe from Tasty Minstrel Games, and you brought us your title debuting here at Gen Con.
At Gen Con and theoretically in stores today, or today or yesterday, Old West Empressario.
Which, I was trying to think, I know you've had a couple other Western-themed games from TMG before.
Yeah, so I live in Arizona, and TMG was started in Tucson, Arizona, which is the Old West. And so one of our first titles is Homesteaders, kind of an Old West-themed game. We also have Gold West and Pioneer Days. In fact, a year or two ago, we had Pioneer Days come out. And this is actually like a thematic sequel. You might recognize the art, and even these characters are the same ones. In Pioneer Days,
I sort of feel it's like your touchstone when you just sort of come back to that.
We're from the Old West. I kind of have near and dear to my heart, kind of a thing. So I kind of like that theme, and people dig it. I think there are a lot of. I'm surprised there are not more Old West themed games, to be honest. But yeah, so this one is a sequel to Pioneer Days. When Pioneer Days, you're coming out west, and now you've arrived and you've been granted land by the government, and you're going to bring in settlers and try to build up the best town in order to become the capital.
How do we do that?
So the way you do it in this game is with a dice draft. So you've got your town hall, and this is kind of mid-game. I've got some buildings here, and I'm going to be drafting these tiles to add to my town. And the way it works is with a dice draft. So these dice, you roll some dice at the beginning of each round, and then you take turns taking a die, and you have either you can discard a tile to get money, or you can claim the tile into your town, or you can do the fun thing, which is to activate your town. And just to show you an example, this is my favorite part of the game. You get points for all these tiles, so it's good to build them up and have the right adjacencies, and things like to be next to other specific things, like your saloon wants to be next to a distillery, so it gets the whiskey, for example, and the distillery does things like bring people into your town. But you can build up, you can activate your town, and when you activate your town, you get to, say I take this die and it's a 4, so I activate all the 4s on my board. So the fun part is building up a combination of things where you can do a whole bunch of stuff when you activate your town. For example, if I want to use this 4, some of my pieces are face down and some are already constructed face up. So for them to work, they need to be face up.
Right.
So I'm going to draft this 4, and I'm going to activate all my 4s in any order I want. My town hall activates on any number I want. So I'll use my town hall to either get $1 or I'll pay $1 to build. So I'll build this guy up here, a carpenter. Now this carpenter is on a 4, so I can use it now. And I will use this carpenter then to build. This lets me build a building without paying $1. So I'll build another building here. Now the distillery is a 1, and I'm activating 4, so I don't get to do that now. I do, however, get to use my church. I can activate. I can pay $1, which I will, to activate any building that's not activating this turn. So I'll use that to activate that distillery. So I can use my distillery to pay $1 to get 2 people into my town, and we have really cute, like different diverse people. So and then finally, I can activate my inn, which costs $1 and a person, to claim any tile from column 4, and this is column 4 here. So I'll claim one of these. Now I'll claim this native settlement. So the green ones are not, you don't build them. They're native settlements. They are always in play, and I'll put it. My inn likes to be next to the native settlement, so I'll put it next to there, and it comes into play face up already. And the green ones have an immediate effect that just happened. So this gets me a point, and then if I want to, I can spend 2 points to claim any tile I want. So I will. This would have been replaced already, so I'll pay the 2 points and I'll claim anything on the whole board that I want. And maybe I'll claim, I hadn't thought this far ahead of my example, I'll claim a civic building, which is an end game bonus. This particular one gives me 1 point per native settlement in my board. So I'll claim that, and I'll put it face down in my board.
So when they come in face down.
Yeah.
So you're almost buying like the plans or the blueprints
In fact,
this
one of our demos that was calling them blueprints is probably a good idea. So yeah, now that I've got the Native Affairs office, I'm going to get more green ones later because each one's worth an extra point to me.
And that's going to help drive your strategy for the rest of the game.
Yep.
Now, so if that was your turn, that awesome combo
that
turn.
Could have been one turn, right.
So then I would be taking one of the remaining dice, bleeding that pool of available actions down. Next person would be bleeding another dice out.
And these would actually be replaced, so they always have 12 to choose from. So you'd do a thing, I'd do a thing, you'd do a thing. Once we each had 2 turns, there's 1 leftover die. We both get to use that die to activate 1 building, just 1 building. So with that 2, well, I can't do anything except for my town hall, so I can either, I don't have any dollars, so I can't build, so I'll just take $1, right? But you might have an Undertaker on your town that you can activate, so you get a point, and I have to discard $1, because that's what the Undertaker does. So that's basically how it works. In a nutshell. Each of these buildings has a score. At the end of the game, you've got your score pad here, Each building has a scoring condition. The settlements, you want to have the biggest group of settlements. The inns want to be next to settlements. The churches want to be next to carpenters or empty spaces. The carpenter wants to be next to churches or completely surrounded by buildings. And the town hall doesn't score because that's what you start with. Distilleries want to be next to saloons, etc. And then the other thing that's neat is there are these wanted cards, and there are 3 each game, but there's about 14 total. So you'll have 3 different ones, and they are conditions. And as soon as you meet that condition, you can claim that card and get extra points. So for example, this one wants you to have 2 of each stock symbol. So some of these tiles have rails, oil, and cotton. Those are stock symbols. If I got 2 of each, I could claim this for 5 points. The next person to do it would only get 3 points. This one wants you to have 4 in a column and 4 in a row. So I've got 4 in a row here. Once I build this, if I had it like this, I could claim that.
And these would be publicly available.
These are whoever does it first gets the.
You could gun for that early if you wanted to.
Sure, and they're worth points, so it's good. And this one wants you to collect a lot of money, which is not usually if you have a little bit of money, you spend it, you don't collect a lot. But with this in play, maybe I want to collect a lot of money, and there are a few buildings that make lots of money, so maybe I want to get some mines, so I can get $10. And then lastly is the box right here.
It is.
I forgot to get out one of these. It wouldn't be a TMG game if it didn't have characters, right? If you have played, if you've played Pioneer Days, then you might remember some of these characters. There we have there are 12 actually in this game. 8 of them are from Pioneer Days, and there's 4 new ones. And they have on one side of them Standard Empressario, which is the same ability for everyone. So if it's your first game, we recommend that. But it's not like a dumbed down or bad version. It's actually it's just one of the more straightforward powers.
Yeah.
But it's on par with these other individual powers. So you could choose. You get dealt standard rules. You get dealt 2, and you can pick Standard Empresario or this one or this one. And they do crazy things like. That's not too crazy, but whenever I activate my town hall, I get an extra $1 too. So I either get it becomes a mine or a
$2
or
a $1 in a build. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Or the politician here, when you activate your town hall, I can pay $1 to get a person. I can pay money to get people in my town. The gambler, whenever I choose a die, I can re-roll it and get $2. But now I'm stuck with whatever I rolled. Like that's the gambling. And the translator here, she can whenever you're claiming a tile, you can. I forgot to mention that when you take a die, let's say I wanted this one, but there's no ones. I can take a 2 and pay $1 to make it a 1.
Could you also pay to adjust it
Yeah,
up?
plus or minus 1. And they wraps around. The 6 can become a 1. She can do that again and for free.
Okay.
So she can when claiming a tile. These are the kinds of different things you can do. And the standard one though, says whenever you do a wanted card, you get a point and $3. So that's why we kind of picked that as the standard one, so that these are good to do anyway. And if you're playing your first game, this tells you, hey, do those, and you'll get extra rewards.
Kind of a nice reminder to you that they're over here.
Yeah, they're there, they are good, and you'll get extra rewards if you do them. So that's why we chose that one. But a lot of games, if they have a standard side and an advanced side, people skip the standard side and they go straight to the advanced side because we're gamers, we can handle it. But I wanted to point out that the way I've been doing these powers lately is I don't want this to feel like a lesser power. This is a legit, good, fine power balanced with the other ones. It's just a little more straightforward, and it encourages you to do the thing, which is why we say use that one first.
Yeah.
So it really is a choice of 3 at the beginning of the game. You can be Trent the politician, Jake the carpenter, or you can be a standard impresario, and that's 3 balanced powers to choose from.
Could you just hand me the box top back again? So as we're wrapping up, people can get another glimpse at the cover. So if you guys are interested in checking this out, this is are you calling it a sequel or just sort of a...
I'm calling it a thematic sequel.
Okay.
It's by a different designer. It has a somewhat similar dice drafting mechanism, but other than that, it's the same art. Other than the art and the dice drafting, it's not the same at all.
Yeah, so
it's a very different. This is a little lighter, faster game. Probably plays in like 45 minutes to an hour. It's a little bit simpler.
A spiritual cousin to Pioneer Days.
Yeah, I dislike the phrase spiritual sequel or spiritual successor, so I try not to use it personally. But so I'm calling it a thematic sequel. It does story-wise follow right up after the end of Pioneer Days, but it's its own game. You don't have to have played Pioneer Days to play it. You might, if you have though, you might recognize what's new with the characters now that they've arrived at their town. And it's a bit lighter, tile drafting, town building game, and I really like the combos you can build.
So if you guys want to check that out, this is Old West Empressario, which is being published by Tasty Minstrel Games. And Seth, thank you again.
Thank you very much.